Hey guys, Ryan here. So today we're going to be reviewing the new issue of The Walking Dead, issue 192, Aftermath. This will contain major spoilers for the comics, so if you don't want to, if you're not caught up or if you don't want to know what happens because you haven't read the issue yet or anything, don't watch this because this is definitely the biggest thing to happen in all of Walking Dead. Like, this is huge. So, anyways, before we get into anything, I just wanted to point out that, they did release a second printing for issue 191, so I picked that up today. I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but it says second printing in the top under 191. But yeah, so here's the second printing I picked up, and then we have the issue. So here's issue 192. It did come with a blank sketch variant as well, so I did get those as well, and they're coming out with like a tribute variant as well to Rick Grimes, so it's like, it says 2003 to 2019, and it's got a picture of Rick. So, anyways, the last issue ended with Rick getting shot through the chest, or through the heart, it looked like. And this issue opens up right back to where it was. So, yeah, you just see Rick there, with the wound, and then Sebastian, and then he says, "I'm sorry," and then he shoots him 3 more times. So he's just like, it's really bad. And then he just drops the gun and leaves, leaving Rick there to die. And then you have this horrible panel. Look at how gruesome that is. That is the last thing I want to see when I see one of my favorite characters ever created, if not my favorite character ever created. I should do that, like combine all of my favorite things that I really like and just you know, like do a top 10 ranking of every character ever created, of all the ones that I like. But anyways, here we have Carl waking up, and then he goes and he says hi to Jesus, and then he goes to see his dad. And the weird thing is the door is slightly open. He sees the shadow of Rick, and then he opens it all the way, and he sees a zombie Rick. Guys, we got a zombie Rick. Now, I'm sure some people may not have liked that we got a zombie version of Rick. I'm sure some people may have hated this issue all around just because of the way he died. I know it can be controversial in just how you see it. I personally didn't have a huge problem with it. I mean, obviously there could have been a better way to kill Rick Grimes, but to me, it is a comic book at the end of the day. It's not a comic book at the end of the day. It's a story. And this is a very down-to-earth story. It's not like he just has to jump off a cliff and live to save it. Like, he doesn't have to sacrifice himself. It was literally a cold-blooded murder, killing an unarmed, innocent man who literally has done nothing except take your power, and that's literally all that the Miltons care about. Sebastian in cold blood killed Rick because of their power was taken. So, anyways, Carl puts Rick down from being a walker. So, it was cool to see Rick as a zombie. I mean, it was definitely different, something that you probably wouldn't have expected. And then Carl just starts crying and falls to the ground. And then he has a really, really down-to-earth, nice conversation with Michonne about Rick, and that he wouldn't even have known about this if he just stayed at Hilltop, and that he wished that he hadn't come, and just, how they should take him back to Alexandria to bury him and everything. And then Pamela Milton, Carl goes with Michonne and Maggie to talk to Pamela, and Pamela says that Sebastian's going to be in prison for the rest of his life, and then Michonne's like, if you think that this happening with Rick is going to bring back your power, you're wrong. Don't count on it. So then Carl goes and has a conversation. Wait, actually, one thing. So Carl does go and have a conversation with Sebastian in his cell. But one little thing is, I think Pamela Milton is lying. I personally think, like, this is just a theory. This is not confirmed. I don't know if this is true or what, but I personally think that she planned this. I think that she planned to have Sebastian go and kill Rick, and that they'd put him in a cell, and then, obviously they're not going to stay there after Rick has been killed. So I think that they are lying, like, that they're going to have Sebastian put in a cell until they leave, and then they'll let him out. as soon as they are gone. So I personally think that, I'm going to set the issue down for a minute, but I personally think that they'll let him out, and then in a few issues, or like 10, 20 issues, I don't know, they'll come back, because this is definitely not the end of the Commonwealth. This is literally where Rick Grimes died. They're going to come back or do something with it. So I think that they'll come back, and then he'll be out of his cell, and then they'll just be completely outraged. And I think it'd be really cool to have Negan be the one to get revenge for Rick. I think that'd be a really cool thing to see, considering that, you know, Negan's redemption arc is something that they have explored the last, 40-something issues. A good chunk of time. And it'd be really cool to have this be, like, the final, like, actual, you know, you killed Rick Grimes, I'm going to kill you sort of thing. So, but anyway, so Carl is fine with him being, locked in a cell forever, because that's what Rick would have wanted. I mean, that's what he did with Negan, so. And then this really cool thing. Carl in this scene with him and Sebastian is basically like Rick and Negan having a kid, you know. He's doing what Rick would have wanted by letting him live in the cell. And then as he's leaving, he says, I'll be seeing you. Ta-ta, as in he will come back. So that's like another reason on why I think my theory might be right. Oh. I didn't notice that, actually. But, anyways, so then he says, I'll be seeing you, ta-ta, which is exactly what Negan said after he killed, Glenn. So, but anyways, so I just noticed this, actually, and that's actually really, really sad. I didn't see that the first few times I read it, but Rick, there's a casket right there, and I'm assuming Rick is in that, obviously, but I didn't see that, so that's actually very sad. I didn't see that. But anyway, so Michonne and Carl are heading back to Alexandria with Rick to have a funeral for him and bury him next to Andrea, and then Maggie comes and says there's a lot of people that want to come with to pay their respects in Alexandria. So they got all these people. This is probably one of the coolest things about this issue, including the thing of Carl and, you know, his basically Rick and Negan having a kid would be like Carl, if that was possible. But anyway, so then, like, another thing is that something happened, but they want to come. Wait, is Pamela coming as well to see Rick? Oh, wow, I didn't notice that at first. Maybe my theory isn't correct. That is something I could throw out, though. I mean, maybe Pamela. Oh, yeah, she's right there. I didn't notice that at first. I didn't notice that she was, there. But anyway, so these are all the people that want to come to Alexandria to pay their respects for Rick Grimes. Now, just because Pamela's going doesn't mean my theory is wrong. It still could play out in some way. But yeah, I mean, these people are all coming back to Alexandria just to pay their respects to Rick. Maybe, Pamela has a little idea. Mercer's coming. I want to name all the characters on here, because some of them you can't name because we don't know them, but there's Maggie, Heath, Dante, Elodie, Sadiq, Magna, Pamela, Mercer, Jesus, some unnameable ones, I don't know those. And what's this girl's name? She's friends with Maggie. I can't remember. Why can't I remember? This is so irritating, because I actually have a really good memory, too. Anyway, so Yumiko, Princess, Stephanie is, Eduardo, Laura, a lot of people are coming back to say goodbye to Rick. But yeah, so here's all of them right there, going back to bury Rick at Alexandria. So, yep, there's her carriage. I didn't notice that at first. But yeah, so they got the Commonwealth soldiers, and then Carl just, like, I don't know if he, like, faints or something, but he just, like, falls off. And he's just on the ground. He's like, I can't go on without my dad. I can't do this anymore. So that's how the issue ends right there. And there's like this whole thing in the letter hacks about like Robert Kirkman saying like, trust me. You guys may be really mad at me right now for killing off Rick, but I know what I'm doing, and I think you guys will all understand, and that you guys will like what I'm doing. And he makes a joke like, yeah, it's been 192 issues. Haven't I earned any trust? So it was kind of funny, but that makes me really excited, because I'm personally like, I'm more like 60-40. I'm more towards the idea that Rick, has died, because I really like the idea of exploring the story in a different way through a different character's eyes, because Rick Grimes, you can say, is the main character in this story. So I'm personally really excited to see what they do. And then he makes like a little hint with some words. If you guys have the issue, go look at the letterheads. It's like the last thing. He's like, who will take on the comic book series? Here's a little, hint, but he uses a few words like Negan would. So, I personally did think that it was a good issue. It definitely was the highlight of the Commonwealth arc. I think we all can agree on that. And Carl, they dealt with Rick a little, pretty quickly. I think they could have had him be, a little bit longer. I don't know. Sorry if you guys can tell my throat's a little froggy. But anyways, so this did do a really good job of exploring Carl's eyes and the way that Carl would handle, not having his father and everything. So overall, I think it was a great issue. Definitely the highlight of the Commonwealth story arc. I mean, obviously, this has not been the most, amazing, really interesting storyline, but I think this Rick thing, I don't want to say, made up for it, but it really did, add something big to the story. So I'm really excited to see what happens next, because I think we might be getting Negan back next issue, so that's exciting. And then we're going to meet a new character, Sheriff Kapoor, in a few issues. So, who looks almost identical to Rick. So anyways, I'm really excited to see the way that the comics go. I think that's one of the more interesting ideas about Rick being killed. This is already being rushed into a second printing and a third variant cover. So I'm really excited to pick up the second printing and all that stuff. They did have one more of these left, but I just decided to have it being held for me so I don't, so I'll pick it up next time I go, because I have a feeling this issue is going to be very hard to get once you want, and since this is Rick Grimes' death issue, I do feel like I really want a few copies of it. So, because Andrea's death, it didn't have any variants when it first came out, but I did end up getting quite a few copies of that one, just because it's a major key issue, and it's good to have multiples of key issues. Not because if they go up in value, I can sell it, because obviously it's Walking Dead. Why would I sell it? That makes no sense. Walking Dead is literally, in my blood. There's no way I would sell it. But, just to have it, to say that you have, not to say that you have it, but just to have it and know that you have the biggest key issue in the comic book series, because this is definitely the biggest key issue. So, even if you're hesitant on getting it, go pick it up. Even if you only collect the volumes or the compendiums or the books, go get this. This thing is going to be very hard to get later on. My comic book shop was already sold out of these regular ones. Otherwise, I would have got it. The only one that they had left was one of these. If you're a big comic book collector, you know that comic book shops have polls where you set up what you want. I get 2 of every issue, regular issue, and then if there's a variant, I get 2 of those as well. So this one, I don't have anything in for second or third printing, so I probably should do that just in case, because I want to make sure I get that one on second printing, but they did have this one, and I noticed it, so I picked it up, and I'm very happy, guys, with this issue. I know some people are going to be very mad about it, because it was the death of Rick Grimes. Some people may say it was just, too stupid, or I don't know, just because it was the fact that it was Sebastian. But yeah, look at Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones basically did the same thing. But when you think of a legend, you think of Rick Grimes. You don't think of Ned Stark. So there's a big difference, but there's a lot of similarities as well. But yeah, so leave down below, what did you guys think of the new issue? I thought it was a good one. I mean, definitely not the best issue in the series. Issue 144 was the best issue in the series. I don't know how you can top that. And they adapted it so well in the TV show. I want to put that out there because I don't think I even reviewed that episode. I am not doing very well on my reviews, guys. I can easily put that out there. I think you guys have probably figured it out by now. But when it comes to the TV show, I don't even know if I reviewed episode 915. But that's my favorite episode of the series by far. That was such a good episode. Everything about that episode I loved so much. But yeah, so anyways, I think that this was a good issue. It was a good start to a new beginning. I think that next issue is basically going to be like a second new beginning. But yeah, leave down below, what did you guys think? I personally thought it was great. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.